What if I told you the XRP Rich List isn't just a list? It's a ladder. A secret wealth ladder hidden in plain sight with rungs that only a fraction of people will ever climb. Most stop at the bottom, a few reach the middle, and almost no one ever makes it to the top, where the gatekeepers stand holding positions so rare that global demand has no choice but to pass through them. The XRP Rich List exposes this ladder. It shows exactly where you stand right now and what it would take to move higher, step by step, until you reach the tiers where history is written. Stay with me, because today you'll see the levels inside the list, how few truly hold enough to matter, and why the climb must start now, before the ladder is out of reach. Part 1. The Secret Wealth Ladder. Most people think the XRP Rich List is just a chart, a flat display of wallet balances. But it isn't flat. It's a ladder. At the very bottom sit millions of wallets with a handful of coins, barely enough to register. That's the first rung, the entry level. It's where most people stay, hoping for price to do the heavy lifting. But as you look higher, the rungs get narrower. Fewer wallets, larger stacks. Each step up represents someone who made choices most people wouldn't make. To accumulate when others hesitated, to hold when fear screamed sell, to secure their position when the crowd was distracted. And at the very top, the smallest, rarest rung, are the gatekeepers. The ones whose positions are so large, so statistically rare, that global liquidity will one day be forced to flow through them. The XRP Rich List maps this ladder for you. It shows exactly where you are today and dares you to climb higher. Because the difference between standing at the bottom and standing at the top isn't luck. It's steps, one rung at a time. Part 2. Tiers inside the list. The XRP Rich List isn't random. It's structured. And each tier tells its own story. At the base are entry holders. These are the wallets with just enough coins to feel included. They refresh price charts constantly, hoping for a miracle move. They are the widest tier, but they hold the least influence. Above them are the silent accumulators. Fewer wallets, bigger stacks. This group doesn't just hold, they add. They use dips as opportunities, and they rarely make noise. These are the people preparing for the day demand arrives. Then comes the rare elite. The smallest group, yet they control a massive share of the supply. These are the gatekeepers, the ones who sit at the choke point of global liquidity. They don't have to rush when news hits. The market will come to them. The XRP Rich List lays these tiers bare. It shows how steep the climb is, how few truly move from one rung to the next, and why being in the list isn't enough. You must know where you stand. Because every tier carries a different destiny. And the higher you go, the more powerful your position becomes. Part 3. The first rung. Entry holders. The first rung is where most people stop. These are the entry holders. Wallets with a few dozen coins, maybe a few hundred at most. They bought just enough to feel like they're in the game, but not enough to change their future. They refresh price charts every hour, waiting for a moonshot to turn their tiny stack into life-changing wealth. They chase headlines, buy late, sell early, and repeat the cycle over and over. The truth is, the first rung is not a position of power. It's a position of hope. And hope, without conviction, rarely leads higher. The XRP Rich List shows just how crowded this rung is. Millions of wallets clustered at the bottom, fighting over scraps, holding amounts so small they barely register in the grand scheme. This is why most never move up. Fear keeps them from buying more. Impatience makes them sell too soon. They think they're playing the game, but in reality, they're just standing at the gate, never climbing the ladder. The XRP Rich List is not about being present. It's about progress. And progress means leaving the first rung behind. Part 4. The middle rung. Silent accumulators. The middle rung is where the noise fades and conviction begins. This is the realm of the silent accumulators, holders who don't brag, don't panic, and don't trade every headline. They buy when fear drives the price down. They secure their coins in cold wallets. They quietly climb, one dip at a time, until their stacks no longer look like an accident. You won't see them screaming on social media. You won't see them chasing pumps. Their wealth is built in silence because they know the math and they know their goal. The XRP Rich List shows how few make it to this tier. The numbers drop sharply here, but the total coins held per wallet rises dramatically. This is where real positioning starts to matter. The middle rung is not glamorous, but it's powerful. It's the phase where you stop playing the short-term game and start building a long-term identity inside the Rich List. If you can survive here, through boredom, through dips, through doubt, you set yourself up to reach the next rung, where scarcity turns into leverage. Part 5. The top rung. Gatekeepers. At the very top of the ladder stand the gatekeepers, the rarest wallets on the network. These are not casual holders. These are the ones who hold so much in such concentration that global liquidity cannot bypass them. When payment rails turn on, when institutions flood in, when demand explodes, the flow of value must pass through their hands. The XRP Rich List shows how tiny this group really is. Just a fraction of all wallets make it this far. Their positions are measured not in hundreds, not in thousands, but in tens of thousands, sometimes millions. Being a gatekeeper is not just about numbers, it's about influence. It's the point where you no longer chase the market. The market comes to you. Your wallet becomes the choke point of a global system. This is why the top rung is the ultimate destination on the Rich List. It is where rarity transforms into power, where preparation meets inevitability. Most will never reach it. But those who do will write the next chapter of financial history, quietly, from the top. Part 6. Math of distribution. The numbers don't lie. They never have. Open the XRP Rich List, and what you'll see is not equality. It's concentration. The top 1% of wallets hold a staggering percentage of all XRP in existence. Go higher to the top 0.1%, and the figures become almost unreal. This is not by chance. It's the result of positioning, of decisions made quietly over years, not days. While millions of wallets sit idle at the bottom, convinced they hold enough, the math says otherwise. Because this ladder is vertical, the difference between holding 1,000 coins and 10,000 is not 10x in value. It's 100x in future leverage when demand surges. Each higher rung controls more than the one below it, not just in tokens, but in power, influence, and future liquidity flow. And when the system matures, when corridors open and utility activates, value will not rise evenly. It will accelerate toward the few. This is what the math reveals, that wealth doesn't spread. It concentrates. And the Rich List is your proof in real time, on-chain. Part 7. Why levels matter. More than price. Price is what everyone stares at. They wake up, check the chart, panic on red candles, celebrate on green ones. But price is just noise if you don't know where you stand. What truly matters is your level, your rank on the ladder. Because price will move up and down 1,000 times before the system reaches maturity. But your position, the size of your stack, the rung you stand on, that's what decides who you become when the dust settles. The XRP Rich List proves it. The wallets at the top don't care about every tick. They care about holding enough to control liquidity when demand floods in. That's why they rarely sell into fear and rarely chase into pumps. The Rich List reminds you that wealth is about control, not reaction. If you're on the bottom rung, a price spike might make you feel good for a day, but it won't change your life. If you're on the top rung, the same spike rewrites your future. Focus on climbing levels, not chasing candles. Because when price finally does move for good, your rank will matter far more than the chart you watched today. Part 8. What stops most people? Most people never make it past the first rung. Not because they can't, but because they won't. They're not lazy. They're not blind. They're just trapped, mentally. Trapped by fear. Fear of loss. Fear of risk. Fear of regret. And deeper than fear, disbelief. They see the ladder. They see others climbing. But something inside whispers, this isn't for you. You're not like them. You'll lose everything. So they pause. They hesitate. They shrink their vision to what's comfortable. A small bag, a small hope, a small future. And they wait. Wait for the perfect entry. Wait for the green candle. Wait for certainty that never comes. But wealth never waits. It flows to the few who move when others freeze, who buy when others fear, who believe when others doubt. The You Are Rich list doesn't block anyone, but most block themselves. Not at the wallet, at the mind. Part 9. Conviction isn't optional. Conviction isn't something you add later. It's the price of admission to the higher rungs. Without conviction, you will always sell too soon, always second guess, always freeze when the market turns red. Conviction is what keeps you holding through the nights when everyone else is panicking, what makes you buy when fear is loudest, what keeps you focused when the noise is deafening. The XRP Rich List is full of proof. The higher the wallet tier, the more conviction it took to get there, and to stay there. Those positions weren't built on luck. They were built one choice at a time, to stay in when it hurt, to secure coins when others forgot, to climb when the crowd was running the other way. The You Are Rich list is not a place for the half-hearted. It's for those who made their decision once and never looked back. Conviction is what turns a number on a screen into an identity, a place in history. You cannot rent conviction. You cannot fake it. You either have it or you fall off the ladder. Part 10. Climb before the gate closes. The ladder is still here. The rungs are still within reach. But every day, the climb gets harder. Every lost coin, every new holder, every surge of demand tightens the funnel. The XRP Rich List is filling up tier by tier, wallet by wallet, and once the top rungs are owned, they won't be given back. You can't wait for perfect timing, because by the time it feels safe, it will be too late. The gate will be crowded, the price will be set, and the climb will cost far more than it does today. The You Are Rich list is not just a scoreboard, it's a map. And that map is telling you exactly where you stand right now. The question is, will you stay there? Or will you take the next step before the gate closes? Climb now. Climb while you still can. Because when history writes this chapter, it won't remember those who waited. It will remember those who moved. You've just seen the ladder inside the You Are Rich list and the tiers of the XRP Rich list. The question is no longer, do you know it exists? It's, are you climbing? Subscribe to XRP Today USA so you never miss the next step up the ladder. Share this video with someone still stuck on the first rung. They need to see what's above them. And drop your current level in the comments, because speaking it out loud is the first step to climbing higher. This is XRP Today USA, the home of the rare, the disciplined, and the ones building their future before the headlines catch up. If you're here, you're already on the ladder. Now climb.